You're listening to the European Parliamentary Research Service podcast on the 2017 Sakharov Prize.
As every year in December, the Parliament is getting ready to give out the most prestigious human rights award in the EU, the Sakharov Prize for freedom of thought.
And this year, the distinction goes to the Venezuelan Opposition for its courageous struggle against a repressive regime that holds hundreds of political prisoners. To all of them and the many more whose suffering doesn't hit the headlines, we dedicate this podcast. Stay with us.
The Sakharov Prize for freedom of thought, named in honor of the Soviet physicist and political dissident Andrei Sakharov, is awarded each year by the European Parliament to honor individuals and organizations defending human rights and fundamental freedoms.
Particularly the right to free expression, safeguarding the rights of minorities, respect for international law, development of democracy, and implementation of the rule of law.
The prize was first awarded in 1988 to Nelson Mandela, and later many well-known names have followed. Former UN Secretary-General Kofi Annan and all the UN staff, Reporters Without Borders, Pakistani activist Malala Yousafzai, Saudi blogger Raif Badawi, and last year's winners Nadia Murad and Lamia Ajibashar.
By awarding the 2017 prize to the Venezuelan Opposition, in particular to the National Assembly headed by Julio Borges and the political prisoners listed by Foro Penal Venezolano, the Parliament denounces the situation in Venezuela, reaffirms its unwavering support to the democratically elected National Assembly, calls for a peaceful transition to democracy, and pays tribute to the Venezuelan people, in particular to those who have been unjustly jailed for expressing their opinions.
Split into Chavistas and those who cannot wait to see an end to the 18 years in power of the former president's United Socialist Party, the political crisis in Venezuela shows no sign of abating.
On the contrary, the ruling party has steadily limited the rule of law, and the democratically elected National Assembly has been stripped of its legislative power, first by the country's Supreme Court in March this year, and then by the controversial National Constituent Assembly elected in August 2017.
Since protests began earlier this year, more than 120 people have been killed in street protests, most of them in anti-government demonstrations, and more than 5,000 people have been arbitrarily arrested or detained.
With a reward of €50,000, the Sakharov Prize will pay tribute to all of them. The ceremony will take place on the 13th of December in Strasbourg, and the Venezuelan opposition leaders Julio Borges and Antonio Ledesma are due to participate.
The second of the three finalists, the Guatemalan human rights defender Lolita Chavez, will also attend, but the other finalist, the Swedish Eritrean journalist Dawit Isaak, has been in prison in Eritrea since 2001 without charge or trial, and there's been no news from him since 2005.
We won't forget you. You're listening to the European Parliamentary Research Service podcast.